What's up guys, it's Josh from KeepItTechie, and today I want to do a quick video showing you guys Jenkins. Now, as I stated in the intro of the video, I wanted to show you guys Jenkins, which is a open source automation server that you can set up that allows you to manage and automate certain integrations when it comes to coding projects. And it's a super cool application. I have not used it in a production environment, but they do have it in an environment that I've worked for in the past, and it's becoming more and more popular for IT departments to actually use this, or developers, people that are developing applications, to set up a Jenkins server to automate certain processes when it comes to testing and pushing out data, which kind of falls under, or not data, but pushing out applications, which kind of falls under DevOps. So this is a great thing to actually learn, especially if you're trying to get into the IT field. If you have an understanding or a base understanding of how Jenkins works, then that'll help you be successful in your field, especially if you're becoming a programmer or developer, and you're pushing things to repositories. One of those things Jenkins will do is help with the integration process, so you can roll out software on a regular basis, or updates to software on a regular basis. Now let's go on and go over to Jenkins website right fast, so I could just show you guys a little bit more about it, because like I stated, I haven't used it before in a production environment, but I have played around with it within Linux. But let's head over to the website right fast so we can get started. Okay, cool. So I'm at Jenkins website. It's actually jenkins.io. And just to read a little bit about it, it says right here at the top, it says build great things at any scale, which is one of the things that they're starting to implement in a lot of IT positions, is the whole scale agile framework, where you're pushing out things on a schedule, as well as far as developed applications, and that whole DevOps process. So that's one of the reasons why Jenkins is starting to become more popular, because it's being involved, or it's being put into the whole DevOps process. But it says the leading open source automation server. Jenkins provides hundreds of plugins to support building, deploying, and automating any project. And then you can download it right here, or you can go to the documentation. They do have a lot of documentation, and like it's stated in that paragraph, that they do have a whole bunch of plugins to assist with the actual building, and deployment process. So this is a great application. I recommend anybody that's getting into IT to actually at least review and understand how Jenkins actually works, because you never know if you're going to run into this in a production environment, and you have to use this if you're developing, if you're becoming a software developer or something like that. This application may be there where you send your code once you finish writing it, and all the testing and the integration is automated, so you can kind of understand the way that process works. And then right here, you see the things popping down. They do have like a couple things that's popping on in their news or whatever, that they talk about, contribution awards, all that good stuff. But let's read right here. I just want to read this right fast. It says continuous integration and continuous delivery. As an extensible automation server, Jenkins can be used as a simple CI server, or turned into a continuous delivery hub for any project. It says plugins. That's where it talks about the plugins. It says hundreds of plugins in the update center. Jenkins integrates with particularly every tool in the continuous integration and continuous delivery toolchain. Easy installation. It can be installed on Windows, Linux, and Mac OS, as well as other Unix like operating systems, according to that. I haven't tried it on everything, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how to set it up in Ubuntu, but we'll get to that in a second. But extensible, it says Jenkins can be extended via its plugin architecture, providing nearly infinite possibilities for what Jenkins can do. It says easy configuration. Jenkins can be easily set up and configured via its web interface, and that's super cool about it. It's got a web interface, and I'll show you guys that when we get to the install and setup process of it. It says which includes on-the-fly error checks and built-in help. And then it says distributed. Jenkins can easily distribute work across multiple machines, helping drive build, test, and deployment across multiple platforms faster. Now that's super cool. They have a video kind of explaining Jenkins, so I recommend you guys check that out if you're interested in it. My video is just kind of somewhat of an introduction as well, but I'm not covering everything they will cover within the actual application. I'm kind of leaving a lot of it out, but it's up to you to do the research to find out a little bit more about this actual application, because I'm not sure if you guys are going to run into this, in the future, but my video would be kind of like an overview or a broad and an installation, which I'll get to in a second. And then right here they got blog posts, so you can scroll down, go through all the stuff that they have. But this is a free and open source application. You can install it, like I said, Windows, Mac OS, as well as Linux. And I'll be showing you guys on Ubuntu 20.04 how to install Jenkins. So let's go on and get started right now. I'm not going to go through any of these other tabs I have open, but let's go on and switch over to my server, and we can go on and install Jenkins. Okay, cool. So I have a Ubuntu server set up. It's installed and everything. It has 8 gigabytes of memory. I gave it like 2 cores as far as the processor. And all I want to do is walk you guys through the full installation of Jenkins. So I'm going to do a lot of copy and pasting, and I'll put these links down in the description of the video so you guys don't have to go through and type, everything that you see on the screen that I put in. But some of the prerequisites, basically you just need a Ubuntu server 20.04. One thing that's a dependency for Jenkins is to have Java installed. And I believe it'll go through and install Java. We're going to see, and if it doesn't go through and install it, we can, obviously quickly install it through the process. But you have to add a PPA. It's just a separate repository for the Jenkins repository, and it's best to do it this way. That way you have the updated version of Jenkins constantly being updated on your system, or constantly being on your system, so you don't have to worry about the updates going through the Ubuntu process of vetting software and vetting applications. You'll get it directly from the repository that's created for the Ubuntu system. You basically don't have to wait, and it's more up to date than probably what they have in any of the Ubuntu or Debian repositories. So it's going on, and like I said, I'm SSH'd into it. I already had a first thing, and what we need to do is basically add the key, and this is the repository key to your system, and you have to do this in order to add the repository. So I'm gonna paste that in there, and as you can see, it's basically doing a wget. It's pulling down that jenkins.io key and then adding that key to the application. That way you can connect to it. Now let's go down and type in our sudo password. Boom. And that's one thing, you don't want to use root. You want to make sure you're using a user account that has sudo access. And cool, so we good. We added the key. Now the next thing we need to do is I've done videos on this before where you basically add the repository to the sources list, and so it's very simple to do. You can actually open up that file if you want to, like using a text editor, or you can paste it in there, or paste this command in there, and it'll put it in there for you. And basically what this is doing is adding that link location to the sources list at the end. It's basically appending it to the end of the file. So good to go, and that adds it to the list, the sources list. So now after we did that, let's go down and type sudo apt update, and then we should see that repository in for Jenkins, and as you can see, it's there. So packages, package.jenkins.io, Debian stable. You can see that repository is added there now. So those two commands will get the repository added to your system. That way you can install directly from that repository, no problem. So now we could just simply run sudo apt install, and then we could just type Jenkins, and that's the actual package name. So it's Jenkins, nothing after it, no dashes, no anything. So let's press enter, and we should install everything, and it'll add all the dependencies for it. Hopefully it adds Java. I'm not sure if it's gonna add Java, and it looks like it's not. It looks like it only added daemon, and that's probably why it didn't start as well. It needs Java installed on the system. So let's go down and do that right now as well. That way we can start up Jenkins, and it's a very simple command. Let's just type sudo apt install, and then I believe the package name is default -JRE, and that'll install the latest version, or should, and I typed that in wrong. So, and like I said, I'll put that down in the description of the video as well. JRE, boom. So, and this will install the latest version, which is really what we need right here. Open JDK-11, that's really what we need. So let's press enter. It'll install all the Java packages that we need in order to start up Jenkins, and then I'll reboot the system. I'll actually enable that Jenkins service now, and then, well, before I reboot, and then I'll reboot the system and then SSH back into it, and we should be good to go. And actually, I'll be back when this finishes. I'm not sure how long it'll take to install all these Java packages, so I'll be back in a second. Okay, cool. So let's go down and just check the version of Java that we have installed, and all you have to do is type Java and then -version and press enter, and that'll give us the version that we have installed. And let's run another command right fast. I just want to see javac -version, and let's see what we got installed. 11. Yeah, that's what we need. This should work. So let me go down and reboot the server right fast, and then I'll be back when the system comes back up. So let's go sudo. Now the server is back up, so let's go down and SSH back into it. Type in my password for my accounts. Cool. Now let's go down and see if we can start Jenkins now, and if it doesn't start, I may have to do a little troubleshooting, but let's go sudo systemctl, and then let's just type start, and then Jenkins. That is the command to actually start the process. So let's type our sudo password, and if we get a failure and something has happened, but we didn't get any issues, so Jenkins has started. So since we installed Java, it should be fine. It should be good to go. Now let's go down and actually look at the status right fast, so we can actually see what's going on. And for some reason I'm not able to see my cursor. I may have to fix that, but let's type Jenkins, press enter, and as you can see, it's active. It should show that it's enabled. Well, it's started. We see that the service is started and active, so we're good to go. And it should start each time you boot. Yeah, it says start Jenkins at boot time, so we're good to go. You know, it doesn't need to be enabled. We're good to go. Okay, cool. So the next thing you want to do, I'm not sure if you are going to be using a firewall. It's best to use the firewall. So I just want to make a couple changes to the firewall. Let's actually clear the screen right fast. Boom. And let's type sudo ufw allow. And what you want to use is port 8080. That's the best port to actually use an application or something that's, you know, separate, that you don't want to be open up to port 80. 8080 is one of those things. I've seen people use 8888, you know, but 8080, you know, it's good to go, especially if you have internet service at your house that blocks port 80 and you need to access this. Then that's a good way to actually get to a website by using 8080, which I do at my house. And I'm not opening this up to the internet, but I'm just letting you guys know that that's something that can help you if you're trying to do that. So let's go down and press enter. That'll update that rule. And then one other thing you want to do, since I'm sure that the firewall is not enabled on here, is to add open SSH server. So because right now I'm connected to SSH, and if I enable the firewall, it's going to kill my open SSH connection. So I'm just hit the up arrow and backspace 8080. And Open SSH is a service that's within UFW. It's one of those applications that have their own preset service firewall settings in UFW. So all you have to do is type Open SSH, and that'll allow Open SSH access to the server, which is the default port of 2022. And if you're using a non-standard port for Open SSH, then you want to just go down and do it the way we did, port 8080 up at the top. But since if you're using the default port, then you want to just type it in that way, and that way it'll add those services. Now let's go down and enable the firewall, and we should be good to go. I shouldn't get kicked out. If I do, then I'll just reconnect back, because the firewall is finna be turned on by running the command sudo UFW enable, and this will enable the firewall. Boom. So and then this is just a question. It's basically saying that it may disrupt the existing SSH connection, but I'm gonna type Y for yes. It doesn't matter. If I need to, I could just disconnect and connect back, but it's good to go. It didn't kick me out, and a lot of times it won't nowadays, but I know in the past it used to kick you out of SSH and you had to reconnect back to the server. And then also let's go down and check the status of UFW, just so you guys can see what we actually did. So this is port 8080, it's allowing all traffic, as well as Open SSH is allowing all traffic. And it also has the IP version 6 version as well. So that's open up for both of those for both of those ports, for both IP versions. So now let's go add on and go to the Jenkins server, and you have some configuration that you need to do, and I'll show you guys this once we open it up. But let me switch over to my web browser again, where we were, and go down and type in the IP address for this server, and we should be able to head over to finish configuring the server. Now let's type 192.168.10.121 is the actual server IP address. And I only know that, one thing you want to do is type in IPA within the terminal, and that'll get you whatever your IP address is. And actually, let me go over and show you guys that right fast. But let's type IP space A, and that'll give us the IP address, the IP version 4 IP address for the server. So like I said, it's 121 for my server. It may be something different for yours depending on what it is. So let's go down and press enter. It'll bring up the actual site. And one thing, in order to get into it, you have to get the password out of this file. It says initial admin password. So let's go down and switch back over, and hold on, I didn't even switch over to the website. But anyway, after typing it in, this is what pops up. It basically saying, this is how you unlock it. You have to find this file on the server. So let's switch back to the terminal right fast and find that location. Boom. And let's go down and clear the screen so we can get this thing popping. But so all we had to do is use the cat command. You can use whatever you want, but I'm gonna show you guys this. And it doesn't matter, this server is going to be deleted. I don't have the ports open or anything pointed to the server. It's all internal, so I don't care if you guys see the password for this server. It's a random generated password by the installation. So I'm gonna go cat, then var lib, and then Jenkins, and then secrets, or it's secrets with a S, and then initial hold on. And actually, let's tab this out right fast so we can see what's on it. And it doesn't look like anything is in there. That's super weird. Please copy the password. And it may be blocked because of the name. Or actually, let's just put it in there or paste it in there and see if we can actually see what we trying to find. I'm gonna copy this whole thing. Actually, let's go back, because for some reason I can't see my cursor at the moment. So I'm gonna just paste the full path in here, and I'm gonna cut out that file. And if I have to use sudo, then I'll do that at that point. It says permission denied. That's why I wasn't able to see it. So let me wait till I move the cursor all the way to the end, and then let's just type sudo. And sorry about that, I gotta move the cursor all the way, and I don't know how far it is. There we go, it's at the beginning. So sudo cat, boom, and that's our password. So all you gotta do is copy that out. So we can copy this from the terminal, and then let me switch back over to the website so you can see me paste it in. But all you gotta do is paste that in, press continue, boom, and then I'm gonna never do that. Now the next step, pretty simple. It's just asking you if you want to select the plugins or install the suggested plugins. I recommend, since maybe this is your first time messing with this, just install the suggested. So it's going to go through and install everything that they suggest you install. And I'm assuming it's going to be everything. Yeah, it's going to be everything within here. As you can see, it's got folders, OWASP markup, formatter, build timeout, credentials binding, timestamper, workspace cleanup, ants, Gradle, and a couple other plugins. I'm not gonna go through them all. I see Git on here as one of the defaults, so super cool that they installing Git and GitHub branch source, those plugins, you know, that'll help you out as well. SSH build agent, mailer, email extension, LDAP, PAM authentication. But yeah, like I said, it's going to install all those things. You'll see them, you know, the log for it, actually what all it's installing. So I'll wait until this thing actually finishes, and I'll skip ahead. All right, cool. So it finished that, and the first thing you want to do is, or the first thing it forces you to do, is create your first admin user. So I'm gonna just use my user account, Josh, and then create a simple password, and I'll probably make it kind of strong, just so it won't mess up or whatever. And then I'll just put Josh again, and then I'll type in my email address, KeepItTechie@gmail.com. Boom, and then let's go down here, save and continue, and we should be good. And then this is the Jenkins URL, so that's basically just giving you the same IP address we just popped up there. So that's the instance configuration location, and I don't need to type that down or anything because I already know what it is. So let's hit save and finish, and that's pretty much it for installing Jenkins. Now let's hit start using Jenkins so we can get into it and actually start using it. Boom. And as you can see, I mean, it's kind of very straightforward on the dashboard on how it actually works. It says welcome to Jenkins. This page is where your Jenkins jobs will be displayed. To get started, you can set up distributed builds or start building a software project. So create a job, set up an agent, configure a cloud, learn more about distributed builds. So that might lead to some documentation. Yeah, that's a link, leads to documentation. But you got new items, so I'm gonna just click in there, just see what it is, what it does. But it walks through the process of creating an item. Let's go back to the dashboard because I'm not going to do anything, but then you can control the people. So this allows you to see all the users on the system. I wish it was a way to actually create a new one, but I'm not sure how to actually create it. But let's go to build history. So there's a history in here. It just breaks down, you know, as things have been changed within the system. Manage Jenkins. So this might be where you can create new users. So this has all the information or all the options to actually configure and manage Jenkins. So system configuration, configure system, global tool configuration, manage nodes and cloud, manage plugins. So this is where you can go in and actually add more plugins. And let's go back. But then security, configure global security, manage credentials, manage users, so create, delete, modify users, configure credentials provider, status. So this is systems information. So this gives you all the information about the actual system. Let's go back. And then the system log, so you can look at the logs, load statistics about Jenkins. So that gives you the version. And as you can see, we have version 2.277.4. So that's the current build of Jenkins that we have installed on the system. Load statistics, so it tracks everything, you know, as far as the load goes. Manage old data, reload configuration from disk. So if you need to reload, I guess, certain configurations that let's say you're migrating to a new Jenkins server, then I'm assuming that's exactly what that is. Now they have a Jenkins command line, so that's super cool. You can actually go in and run scripts, you know, and all that stuff. Form scripts, script console. That's what this is. It's another scripting console, and then prepare for shutdown. So if you need to shut down some builds, I'm assuming it may notify the users. I'm not sure, but it says stop executing new builds so that the system can be eventually shut down safely. And that's one thing you want to do. You want to make sure everything is stopped executing. You don't want to just restart the server or anything like that while it's going through a build process. Now they have my view. So that's just information. That's just a way of showing what you're actually working on. I'm assuming the person that's actually logged in. Lockable resources, so that shows you things that are locked. New view. Let me go in there and actually see. Okay, so you can actually kind of manage your own view within here. And then build queue, so that shows you things that's in the queue to be built. And then build executor status, so idle. So that just gives you more information about the server. So let's say you have to reboot for whatever reason. You want to make sure nothing is being executed or anything like that at the moment, so you can reboot the server. Now I'm gonna just click here. I just wanted to see if it's going to show anything different, and it doesn't. It just kind of goes through everything that's here. But that's pretty much all I wanted to show you guys. This is the dashboard. You can do everything from Jenkins here. So I recommend you guys check this thing out. It's a great application if you're trying to, you know, get into software development and managing projects. It's a great automation tool for that purpose. So please check out their website so you can get a little bit more information, so you can understand how Jenkins work. Hopefully this helps you if you want to set up your own environment at the house, just to play around with it and see if you can manage it and set up some automation for whatever projects that you're building or something that you're working on, so you can get some experience with actually using Jenkins. And it may help you, especially if you're working with a team of people. You can have that CI server set up to help, you know, keep the builds flowing out, you know, as you finish coding. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, leave comments down in the comment boxes below, and I'll put all of these commands down in the description of the video so you guys can copy and paste and you'll be good to go. But please subscribe to the channel. I'm working on trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. I want to get more eyes on my channel so I can try to possibly help more people get into the IT field. But have a good day and keep it techie.